It won't last into the weekend. I'll have an update on rain chances coming up in your forecast.
Private school versus public school. It's a decision most parents are tasked with making for their kids. Tonight, the Alabama Education Association weighs in on a new voucher system for schools.
Limestone County residents are making sure the commission knows they will not stand for a rock quarry in their neighborhood. The latest on the Belmina conflict tonight. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 6. I'm Nikhil Williams.
And I'm Dan Schaefer. Today is a very special day for all of us here at WAAY 31. We're welcoming severe weather expert, Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle back home to the Tennessee Valley.
Very excited to be here. Thanks for the warm welcome. For the folks watching at home, I know I've read your messages on social media, and I'm looking forward to bringing you the forecast. Quiet days, not so quiet days, and great to have the tools at my disposal, especially with our triple Doppler network to track severe weather when it returns here to North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. We don't have that on the way for the weekend, but we've got rainfall on the way, and we'll be tracking that out in more detail, what it means for Saturday, Sunday plans coming up in just a few minutes. Here is a look at WAAY 31 triple Doppler right now, and no concerns out there. Looking at a clean sweep all across the area. We're going to enjoy a quiet Monday evening ahead. Temperatures are beginning to cool. If you were out earlier, it felt pretty good. We made it into the mid, even upper 60s in a few spots. Now on the way down that the sun has set. 58 in Huntsville currently, 53 Decatur. Still holding to 60 there in Muscle Shoals up in Fayetteville, Tennessee. Looking at 57 degrees. Grab the light jacket if you're getting ready to head on out. Live views right now from our WAAY 31 Skycam network powered by Thompson Roofing and Construction. And the picture is the same. Huntsville, Decatur, Muscle Shoals, Gunnersville, all looking at a nice sunset out there and clear skies and quiet weather into this evening. We'll break it down here over the next 12 hours. Temperatures trending downward, still in the 50s at 9. We'll be in the 40s by 11 and expect to eventually dip into the mid-30s by tomorrow morning. There'll be a little chill in the air and perhaps even some light frost kicking off your Tuesday. Back in a few moments, though, not only talking about weekend rain, but more mild afternoons ahead coming up in your forecast.
Jeff, welcome aboard and thanks. You can stay in the know about the latest changes in the forecast. Just download our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. It puts the power of our 3 Doppler radar system in the palm of your hand to keep you informed, not afraid. It's free to download for Apple and Android devices. Alabama lawmakers returning to Montgomery tomorrow to kick off the 2024 legislative session. More than a dozen bills were pre-filed, but something that's gotten local lawmakers' attention is school choice.
Yeah, WAAY 31 reporter Paige Meyer joins us live now. Paige, what can you tell us about that touchy subject?
Dan, that's right. The Alabama education system says that school choice is a hot topic that may be discussed during the legislative session. Now, a new proposed voucher system would allow students to transfer to any school of their choosing by using taxpayer dollars. Now, you may remember education savings account bills were proposed in both the House and Senate last year, but they did not pass. The AEA says the new voucher system would pull funds from local public schools to help relocate students to private schools or homeschooling. Allison King with the AEA says parents have the opportunity to send their children to any school right now, but this program will have public taxpayer dollars pay for the school swap.
I would hope that when we're looking at school choice that we look at all sides of how it will impact our public schools, because our strongest communities are built around strong public schools. And aside from where you are on either side of the school choice argument, we need to keep our public schools strong in order to maintain strong communities.
King says if the new voucher system passes and is implemented, there's already a lot of talk about how students' academic achievement will be monitored. She says academic success should be our top priority. And make sure to stick with WAAY 31 News as we will provide updates on this legislative session as we get them both on air and online at WAAYTV.com. Reporting live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 News.
Paige, thanks. New at 6, a mother is in the Morgan County Jail right now for willful abuse of a child. Police arrested Jessica Cowley today when they searched for a child who reportedly ran away from home. The child was located after an hours-long search and given a medical evaluation. Officers say his injuries are consistent with physical abuse.
NASA leaders chose a familiar face to take the helm at Marshall Space Flight Center. Administrator Bill Nelson named Joseph Pelfrey the new center director. Pelfrey, an Auburn University grad, had been acting director since stepping in when Jody Singer retired last year. Nelson said Pelfrey will manage nearly 7,000 employees and a budget of $5 billion to continue development of the Artemis program and NASA's Moon to Mars missions. In a statement today, Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle said he was thrilled with Pelfrey's appointment. He said, quote, during Pelfrey's time as acting center director, Marshall hasn't missed a beat. He was a hometown candidate, and I'm grateful he will be staying and leading in the Rocket City for years to come. I wish Pelfrey success as he soars into the future with Marshall. Happening now, the Decatur City Council assembled for their weekly meeting.
You're taking a live look right now at the City Council chambers. Tonight, the council will vote on whether or not to amend Decatur's parade ordinance. The push to do so comes after Mayor Tab Bowling instated a requirement to get a permit to protest. This is also the first City Council meeting since Mayor Bowling said he will no longer be present for public comment.
Too old, too confused, too chaotic, and too tantrum-prone to be president. Not talking about Joe Biden. This is what Republican hopeful Nikki Haley has to say about former President Donald Trump. Julia Benbrook is in Washington with the latest on Haley's fight to stay in the race.
Former President Donald Trump doesn't stray away from criticizing his challengers.
Who the hell was the imposter that went up on the stage? And when I watched her in the fancy dress, that probably wasn't so fancy.
His last Republican opponent standing, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, has long avoided taking Trump head on. But in recent weeks, she's been turning up the heat.
He's made it chaotic. He's made it self-absorbed. He's made people dislike and judge each other.
Over the weekend, Haley made a surprise appearance on Saturday Night Live, questioning why the former president won't join her on a debate stage and highlighting the frontrunner's age and recent gaffes.
Are you doing okay, Donald? You might need a mental competency test.
This comes as both candidates campaign in Haley's home state of South Carolina. While she faces calls to drop out of the race, Trump faces an array of legal issues.
They want me to get out of the race because he's got to raise money for his legal fees.
Recent polls have shown that Trump still holds a commanding lead in South Carolina. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Over across the pond, Great Britain's leader is facing a personal health battle. The palace announced today that King Charles is seeking treatment for cancer. ABC News correspondent Patrick Ravel is in the UK with the latest.
Buckingham Palace today announcing King Charles has been diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer. In a statement, the palace saying the king today has begun a schedule of regular treatments and that doctors have advised him to postpone public-facing duties. The announcement came a week after the 75-year-old was hospitalised for planned treatment of an enlarged prostate. The king spending 3 nights there before being discharged, seen here leaving with Queen Camilla. But the palace says during that treatment a separate issue was discovered and that further tests identified a form of cancer. Officials not saying what the form of cancer is, saying only that it is not prostate cancer. The palace also declining to say what treatment the king will receive, but saying he will continue to undertake state business and official paperwork. Charles last seen Sunday attending church for his first public outing since his prostate procedure. The king's new diagnosis coming as a shock in Britain. Charles was crowned only last May following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth. It's also the second recent health scare to strike the royal family. Kate, the Princess of Wales, underwent abdominal surgery last month, now recovering at home after being discharged last week, but not expected to return to her public duties for several weeks. Britain's Prime Minister wishing the King a speedy recovery. ABC also learning today that Prince Harry will travel to the UK in the coming days to see his father. The palace are giving very few details right now. King Charles has begun treatment as an outpatient in London this morning, but officials say the King will continue his duties as head of state. Patrick Reevell, ABC News, London.
Not in our neighborhood. That's what residents in Belmina are saying to a proposal to bring a rock quarry. Hear the heated conversation at today's meeting about how the quarry could harm their health.
And the latest on life-threatening flooding happening right now in California.
Nice mild start to the week. If you're loving these temperatures, you're going to love the forecast. We've got pretty much more of the same in the next few days. I'll have the details coming up after the break.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WAAY 31 News at 6 with Dan Schaefer. Nikel Williams, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle, and Sports with Nolan Knight.
Members of one Limestone County community are making their voices heard. They do not want a rock quarry near their homes. This morning, many residents of Belmina stood up to speak at a Limestone County Commission meeting. They shared different reasons for not supporting the quarry, but their focus was ultimately the same: keeping residents healthy. One gentleman shared his fear that a rock quarry would increase a cancer-causing gas's presence in the air.
Radon is the second most cause of lung cancer in the United States, in fact, in the world. Think about that. It's equivalent, if you have 4 PCU per liter, to smoking a pack of cigarettes a day every day. Radon gas is in limestone, and in particular North Alabama, because of the limestone, because of the caves, and because of the water in many of those caves.
Leaders with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management plan to meet March 7th at Calhoun Community College. They're expected to discuss the proposed quarry and then vote. Happening now, an atmospheric river is moving across California, impacting millions.
There is significant damage already to property, and the threat is not over yet. Weather Channel's Mike Seidel gives us a look from the scene.
Across northern and central California, the big impact was from the wind, not so much the heavy rain and flooding. Sure, we had about 3 inches of rain here, but this is what really caused the issues. The winds coming up the hillsides here in Santa Cruz, taking out these huge eucalyptus trees and totaling these cars. Fortunately, no one in this neighborhood was hurt. But look at this, more damaged cars, a total loss from these trees coming down. And right now they're doing some cleanup, trying to get the smaller limbs off another car that you can barely see because it's buried. The sounds of the chainsaws here. Fortunately, in this neighborhood, the power is underground, so the power is on. But for many folks in this county, they're still dealing with trees down and power outages. Statewide, about 500,000 customers are without power at this hour. Here in Santa Cruz County, 11% still without power. The winds have died off, so the crews can get back up and get that power back on as the worst of the weather today moves through Southern California from LA into San Diego. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel, the Weather Channel in Santa Cruz.
It's a good thing we're not dealing with anything like that.
Well,
here.
thankfully not. I want to welcome back in Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle.
Yes. What a pleasure to have you.
It is a pleasure to be here. Super excited to be back in North Alabama. For those at home that don't know, I previously worked 12 years in this market. I've been gone about 10 in Shreveport, Louisiana. So I left Alabama to go to Louisiana. Now I'm back. And super excited to lead the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather team.
Yeah, we've been playing you up a little bit on social media the last few days, and yes, you are a very familiar face to a lot of people here.
And I'm glad we got some quiet weather for my first day. I'd be upset if it was anything other than what we had today. It's been beautiful out there, but unfortunately it is going to change, and that change is going to roll in for the weekend. I know we had rain yesterday across the area, and likely looking at more wet weather coming up for the upcoming weekend. So kind of plan accordingly. Just want to give you the early updates that we are likely going to be dealing with some rainfall for some on Saturday. Temperature won't be bad at 64. Similar numbers for temperatures on Sunday, but does look like it will be wet, perhaps for a good many of us. As we get a little bit closer, of course, we'll fine-tune the forecast and to kind of break down the details in terms of timing, placement of rainfall, and we'll be updating this as well. This is the rainfall potential over the next 7 days. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing because we still have drought conditions across portions of North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee, and this would help even more, including the recent rainfall that has helped quite a bit. 1 to 2 inches potentially, the Shoals to Lawrenceburg to Fayetteville. From around the Tennessee River southward, that includes the Huntsville area, Decatur, Guntersville to Coleman, maybe averaging 2 to 3 inches of rain. Most of this is going to come during the Friday through, we'll say, late Sunday, early Monday time frame. Unfortunately, though, that sandwiches the weekend in with that wet weather, but perhaps not a total washout, and we'll have more details on that as we get a little bit closer. Right now, though, WAAY 31 triple Doppler is all clear. We've got a clean sweep all across the area with our radar in the Shoals, Decatur, as well as Guntersville, not picking up any precip, and certainly would not expect that because we've had the clear sky and the sunshine out there, which is going to continue into tomorrow. Latest here with future radar, starting you off late this evening around 10 o'clock. When you come back and join us for the latest updates on that weekend rain, it's still going to be very quiet across the area. Clear skies are expected overnight tonight. About the only concern in the morning, a little bit of a chill in the air, so just be prepared for that as you step out. 6 a.m. though on your Tuesday, looking mainly clear to start. And as we take you through the day tomorrow, the cloud cover that you see here, these are thin cirrus clouds. We're still going to have lots and lots of sunshine out there, but maybe not the clear blue sky like we enjoyed today, but still should be a very nice day. Lunchtime, we're quiet, and that'll be the trend through tomorrow afternoon. Wednesday, Thursday, I think will be very similar weather-wise until we reach the end of the week, and that is when things will start to change. No problems here on your threat tracker. We are in the good range tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, with again pleasant and dry conditions on the way with those nice temperatures as well. Again tonight, a little bit of a chill in the air, although we likely stay above the freezing mark in most cases. 35 in Rainsville tonight, Scottsboro 36, Huntsville to Hazel Green, Meridianville around 35, 36 degrees out there. Athens 35, same for Ardmore, and we take you out into the Shoals here, northwest Alabama 36 in Florence, same for Russellville, Town Creek, and Cortland also around 36 overnight tonight. Breaking things down here on your planner tomorrow. After that chilly start, should get a nice warm up. I think temperatures will be down a little bit because the wind change out of the north around 10 miles per hour, but still should make the 60s. 56 around the noon hour. We'll go 61 around 2 in the afternoon, and then backing down into the 50s again heading into tomorrow evening. These are a look at your highs: 63 in Huntsville, 62 Decatur, 63 in Muscle Shoals, Scottsboro, and Fort Payne, both at 64. Breaking down your WAAY 31 storm tracker 10-day forecast through Thursday, no problems. A little warmer Wednesday at 65. Temperature down ever so slightly on Thursday around the 60-degree mark. And then we head into the weekend. Temperatures won't change. They'll stay warm in the 60s, but the dry part of the forecast goes away. Talking rainfall Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. No, it will not rain continuously through that stretch. There will be some breaks, but a little difficult to plan those outdoor activities right now. And wouldn't you know it, back to work early next week. The rain goes away. That's just the way it works out. I'm sorry, I'm just the messenger.
It's the way it has been working.
Yeah,
I know,
for
I
weeks
know.
now.
You know, eventually we'll flip it around. It'll rain during the week and we'll have beautiful weekends, and we'll have forgotten about all these messy weekends as of
Looking
late.
forward to that time.
Yeah, we're going to hold you to that. Thanks, Jeff.
You bet.
Nolan?
And coming up next in sports, we'll start to preview the rematch of Alabama and Auburn. Both the Tide and Tigers ranked inside this week's AP Top 25.
WAAY 31 Sports with Nolan Knight.
This Wednesday, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers will face off for the second time this season, and the anticipation for that game only building as both the Tide and Tigers find themselves ranked inside of this week's AP Top 20. The Crimson Tide moved up 8 spots following their 2-0 week and are now ranked 16th in the nation. While the Auburn Tigers, they moved up 4 spots responding to that back-to-back losses they suffered 2 weeks ago. And with both teams now ranked inside of the top 20, the meeting this Wednesday will mark the first time in 40 years that both the Tide and Tigers are ranked inside of the top 20 when they meet. The last time, 1987, when a 13th ranked Wimp Sanderson Alabama team took down a 17th ranked Sony Smith Auburn team. Speaking of the now ranked 12th ranked Tigers, today they received a weekly honor from the SEC office as Janai Broom was named the SEC Player of the Week. The preseason All-SEC player averaged 15.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 5.5 assists in the Tigers' 2-0 week. He recorded his 55th career double-double versus the Commodores last Wednesday, then added a 15-point performance on the road at Ole Miss, handing the Rebels their first home loss of the year. He currently ranks second in the nation in career blocks and fifth in double-doubles. It's the first time that he's ever been awarded the honor. Speaking of some college hoops, tonight at Alabama A&M at the Events Center, the Bulldogs men and women will be back in action for a showdown against Bethune-Cookman. The Bulldogs men are coming off of a big win at home this past Saturday against Florida A&M. That win over the Rattlers snapped a 5-game losing streak. Their game tonight will tip at 7:30. As for the Alabama A&M women's basketball team, their game is taking place as we speak. The women's team also came away with a close win on Saturday, taking down FAMU 71-69. That win snapped a 2-game losing streak. The Lady Wildcats and Bulldogs are both 4-4 in conference play, and on top of all of the college basketball action taking place at the Events Center, area tournaments in action as well across the state. So we'll have highlights from both of those later tonight at 10.
It's a busy night ahead.
Yep. Thanks, Nolan. We have time for a final recap on the weather.
Yeah, we've got nice weather for the next few days, but by the weekend, it all changes. We're talking rain back in here starting Friday. It'll be with us off and on Saturday, Sunday, perhaps into the start of next week. I'll have a full update on those weekend rain chances coming up tonight at 10 o'clock.
WAAY 31 gives you 24/7 coverage you can count on, local news, breaking news, and severe weather.
Watch WAAY 31 on all of our streaming platforms and download the only weather app with 3 live Doppler radars. We'll meet you right back here again tonight at 10.